Nosgoth leaps into closed beta. Grinding Gear Games releases new details for Path of Exiles mini expansion Sacrifice of the Vaal. The mighty quest for epic loot storms into open beta, and much more on this week's episode of Free-to-Play Weekly. Last week, Psyonix Studios, having wrapped up the closed beta alpha for their asymmetrical combat title Nosgoth, began inviting more players to taste victory or suffer horrific defeat as Nosgoth opened its doors to additional closed beta testing. During closed beta, Psyonix has planned on adding 4 new characters, 2 for each side, along with new maps, weapons, abilities, and skins. New gameplay modes are also being added, including the new Siege mode, which Psyonix will debut alongside the closed beta launch. According to Psyonix's blog post, which detailed the new mode, Siege presents human players with the objective of capturing important strategic locations within the map. These locations must be held for a short time in order to receive points which contribute to their overall score. Conversely, the Vampires' objectives are quite simple: kill all the humans. Since kills are not the main focus for the human side, players will need to work together to defend the points and close any gaps which leave them susceptible to enemies' vicious assaults. Finally, as a small reminder that Nosgoth is indeed still a part of the Legacy of Kain universe, Psyonix is working with Daniel Kabuko, former art lead on Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver, in order to create classic LOC skins for the game's vampire characters. Players interested in finding out more about Nosgoth should check out MMOBomb's official first look of the game right here on YouTube. The streets of Infinite Crisis seem to be filling up with new superheroes faster than ever these days. After Turbine announced this week that DC Multiverse-inspired MOBA would be headed into open beta on March 14th, the studio outlined 3 additional heroes set to enter the beta. Mecha Superman, Aquaman, and Green Arrow will all be joining the fight soon, bringing the roster up to 27 for the open beta launch. Each new hero brings a unique gameplay element, although sadly, none of the Aquaman's abilities call upon dolphins or any other marine mammal to aid him. Incidentally, Infinite Crisis will release its first tri-lane map during the open beta called Gotham Divided. Turbine promises the map will separate itself from other more widely known tri-lanes through its abundant use of destructible environments, which open up new pathways for players to explore. Sometimes free-to-play games truly are free-to-play. That is the case for Renegade X, the spiritual successor to a Command & Conquer-inspired third-person shooter called Renegade, released by Westwood Studios under EA in 2002. Developed by the mod team Totem Arts and sanctioned by EA, Renegade X was released into open beta last week and aims to capture the sophistication of the original while taking a step further and setting itself apart from its predecessor. Players familiar with the original can enjoy updated weaponry, new secondary weapons, vehicle tweaks, and the use of the Unreal 3 engine. Those who are not can expect a team-based experience filled with RTS-style resource management, upgradable characters, a variety of weapons and vehicles, as well as unique objectives which have players disrupting the enemy's tech progression and economy by destroying key base structures. Despite being completely free-to-play, Renegade X will still receive regular support from its developers who plan on adding new maps, features, modes, and other content to the shooter in the upcoming months. Early last week, Ubisoft announced their action RPG The Mighty Quest for Epic Loot had lowered its drawbridge and challenged everyone to invade each other's halls and pillage the goods within. The open beta for The Mighty Quest for Epic Loot marks the end of a fairly lengthy closed beta in which Ubisoft made a surprisingly large amount of changes based on player feedback. In fact, the open beta adds some of the largest changes the game has seen in recent months. With the open beta now underway, players have been treated to an all-new open creation system used in planning the defense of their castle. Previously, castles had several restrictions which capped players on how many minions they could place in one area or how close traps could be to one another. Using the new open creation system, Ubisoft says these changes will minimize barriers on your creativity and let your imagination become the only limit. Ubisoft has also added a few IQ points to the castle's creatures. These creatures are now susceptible to their master's own traps and will actively try to avoid them. They will also attempt to run in order to heal before returning to the fight. These changes make stacking large amounts of fire traps in one area particularly dangerous for nearby creatures, which will add a new layer of strategy when crafting your defense. Players will also be required to defeat their own castle before they can finalize the design, ensuring each person's castle remains beatable. Players can choose from 4 characters to plunder with, including the Runaway, who became available in the open beta for the first time. The Mighty Quest for Epic Loot can be downloaded now through Steam. Having been in closed alpha for the past several months, Deep Silver's Zombie Online Multiplayer Battle Arena, or Zomba, Dead Island Epidemic the Zomba, was recently upgraded to closed beta, allowing additional players to join in smacking zombies about with makeshift weapons. Deep Silver has yet to release any official footage of Epidemic, but did unveil several new screenshots which depict players laying waste to a wide assortment of zombies across several map environments. Dead Island Epidemic aims to differentiate itself from similar titles by offering the ability to craft your own weapons along with both PvP and PvE enemies to contend with. 3 groups of 4 will battle for control over precious supply drops while having random encounters with the living dead. Depending on the situation, teams may find it advantageous to group up in order to tackle waves of zombies, especially when special boss-style zombies appear. Players interested in surviving the outbreak can sign up for the closed beta by clicking on the link below. Crashing the world of steampunk into a realm of high fantasy, BombGold Online from Snail Games has punched in for an alpha test drive on March the 20th. In order to be eligible, potential testers must file a survey for a chance at access, as the test drive will be by invitation only. While BombGold Online is still in development, an earlier alpha version of the game will be implemented for user feedback. Snail Games claims to be on the lookout for suggestions regarding areas of improvement, as they are asking for experienced gamers only. No casuals allowed. Testers will have a total of 8 classes from 4 of the races available to choose from, diving into an environment flooded with war between sorcery and machine. From customizable mechs, vehicles, and flying machines all the way to dragon mounts and war beasts, the theme of industry versus naturalism foreshadows the inevitable resource battle on the horizon between the 2 factions over a newly discovered energy source. Alongside PvP that promises to be brutally freestyle, there are also PvE elements such as trap-ridden steam factories and creature-infested temples available for investigation. PvE exploration combined with a ruthless open PvP is sure to create a chaotic struggle for the top of the totem pole. A link to the alpha survey can be found in the description box below. The Queen of the Vaal is about to make her debut in Rayclast, seeking nothing but sacrifice and pain in Path of Exiles' first mini-expansion. Various brand new content will be shuffled throughout the entirety of the game, creating new experiences for both the novice and the well-versed sages. Bringing a sense of danger and excitement back in Rayclast, random new portals have been placed all over the Axe, leading to Vaal's recent corruption and 60 of her strongest minions. Surviving an encounter with one of these foes grants the successful noble warrior a claim to both Vaal skills and Vaal orbs. Vaal skills are super enhanced player attacks with large cooldowns. These attacks are typically one-hitter quitters, making them a good run-to action when entering a swarm of underestimated enemies. These skills start at 0 but charge with souls sacrificed. Vaal orbs are applied to items, corrupting them and modifying them with new powerful abilities, but revoking any future possibilities of modification, making it a high-risk gamble. Along with these new additions is the implementation of the Ambush League, where a group of ruthless forces spawn to defend a strong box that contains a rare reward. These tests of the mightiest will have many a tale to tell about the bravest and strongest of Rayclast. All of this, plus the Adzuri stronghold within the apex of sacrifice, marches forward towards an official release set for March 5th. And the game of the week is Dogs of War. Recently released into open beta, Dogs of War is a turn-based strategy title inspired by the popular tabletop game Confrontation. In Dogs of War, players assume the role of a commander, capable of leading one of the game's 3 factions: Ram, Lion, and Wolf. Each faction comes with their own distinct lore, units, and strategies which must be mastered in order to conquer the battlefield. As the player's units go through battles, they will earn experience and unlock new powers as they progress. Over 24 customizable units can be obtained with new units added in the future, allowing players to mix and match them in order to create their own unique team. Strategy in war is crucial, with units suffering wounds during battle dealing less damage and the possibility of losing a unit permanently if his injuries prove too great. Not only that, players will also have to deal with more than just the enemy in between matches. Unexpected events may occur which can lead to tension among the ranks and the possibility of desertion. Players will need to keep morale high by sending units on missions in between battles, which also serve to further increase a unit's XP. With 3 distinct modes of play along with single-player challenges and a wide variety of player customization, Dogs of War is perfect for those looking for a competitive turn-based strategy which captures the feeling of tabletop war games. And that's going to be all on this week's episode of Free-to-Play Weekly. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment in the comment section below. And be sure to head over to MMOBomb.com for more free-to-play action. Until next time, Natsumii out.